Oh, it's just so hard. I had to work 3 hours this week. I mean, I tend to get hired for like 1 hour or half-hour sets. I warm an audience up. They often give me tips because I'm like really good. It's just so hard being so naturally talented.
I'm going to tell you something that will shock you. That is not the average week in the life of a musician. Shocking, isn't it? Today's vlog is about something that is very close to my heart and to the hearts of creators across the board. Whether they're a musician or a visual artist, an actor, a dancer, or someone that practices in a more niche art form, that is a severe misconception about the amount of time, effort, and work that goes into doing what we do. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had people that are close to me that really should know better. Family and friends saying things like, "You should get a real job," or "Have you thought about doing something that contributes more to like society?" Or "You should just get off your ass and actually work a bit, then you'll see what it's like." These things emotionally drag you down and clearly show people have no idea what they're on about. That and unsolicited advice, most commonly coming in the form of, "Have you tried entering this reality television show?" Or alternatively, "All you need to do is write a hit song, like a catchy song." "Oh, yes, that's what I've been missing this whole time. Now he's all clear, it's all clear." I don't know whether arts is the only field that gets ridiculous amounts of unsolicited, uninformed advice from people that have zero experience in the field, but by geez, it's common. Now, before I get any further, let me just clarify something here. This vlog is not me gloating and bragging about how hard I work. And yeah, I'll tell you why. The reason why is because everyone that makes a living from doing music, or even that has to work another job but wants to focus on their music, or even that focuses on a different creative field, is working just as hard as I am. I am not the exception. That immense amount of work is the rule. You know how many hours the average creative artist is working on their art? Every waking hour. Every waking hour they are thinking about their art, doing things for their art, or feeling guilty about not working on their art. And I'm gonna get to that later. It is so much work than society presumes. Now, if you're one of these people out there who's like, "Oh, she's speaking about me, that's what I say." Look, to some extent, I understand. The stereotype of the chilled out, lazy artist that does like jack all is very widespread. But it is so far from the truth. I'm going to start off by just giving a short list of just some of the things that I am expected to do in a week as a musician. And this isn't like a big tour that I'm talking about or an album release. This is just an average week, keeping on as a musician. I'm expected to warm up, I'm expected to practice my instruments, I'm expected to practice my repertoire, I'm expected to expand my repertoire, I'm expected to memorize my repertoire, I'm expected to have slow songs, I'm expected to have fast songs, I'm expected to write songs, I'm expected to record demos of the songs, I'm expected to register the songs, I'm expected to register them with a songwriting association and a performing rights association, I'm expected to make sure that I have the metadata down for the songs, I'm expected to make sure that I also go out there and do regular gigs, I'm expected to have all the gear for these gigs, I'm expected to keep the gear up to date and I'm expected to keep it in good condition. New strings on the guitars, new batteries, I'm expected to have spare cables, I'm expected to have the hardware required to record, I'm expected for this to be up to date, I'm expected to know how to use all of this hardware, I'm expected to post on social media, I'm expected to post on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, I'm expected to be streaming on Instagram Live or Twitch or YouTube Live, I'm expected to be responding to messages continuously, I'm expected to respond to all my emails, I'm expected to have production advances ready to go, I'm expected to have invoices, I'm expected to have all my tax done, I'm expected to keep track of all my finances. This is just touching the very tip of the iceberg of things I'm expected to do. And this doesn't even cover all the invisible things, tiny little things you never think that a musician is doing. Things like, I always give this example because I think this one's hilarious, because no one even thinks that this exists. I have a website, as do most creative artists out there, and when I put up a product, like one of my CDs, I take a photo of the product and I have to erase around the border of the CD so that I can have a nice white background for the product on the shop page. You wouldn't expect, as a musician, I'm sitting down in front of Photoshop and erasing, but there's so many things. This is just the tiniest little tip of the iceberg, the tiniest little tip on an uneventful week. And if you're speaking about a show, there's so much organization that goes into a show, immense amount of effort taken to convince someone that they should be paying you for this show and that you are worth the money they are paying for the show. Then all the production advances, setting up how you're going to have all the tech laid out. You have to have your gear insured. You have to have it tagged and tested by an electrician. You often need to have things like working with children's certification in case there's children there. And it just piles on. You have to have the gear. You have to make sure you can bring the gear. You have to set up the gear. You have to deal with technical issues with the gear. You have to perform. You have to have really specific requests for songs and specific types of songs and times you should be doing things. And you got the drunk person that comes up that wants to take your guitar and play on it, and you know that they're going to break one of the strings, but you have to kindly be like, it's wonderful that you're interested in what I do, etc. It's just, there's so much. And this is here, I'm speaking about me doing stuff today. Let's rewind a little bit, because in order to get to the stage where a musician can do these things on an uneventful week, musicians on average start when they are very young, and they go to music lessons, they practice their instruments, they often do music exams, they often do music theory exams, they do Eisteddfods, they do competitions, they study in school. I went to a performing arts high school, I went to a talent school. Often people go to university, they go to college for music. They have to go on a process, a serious process, and one that's really quite demanding to get to the point where they can do these things every week, so they can have someone turn around to them and tell them that I'd be really keen to book you to do a show, but you'd have to be doing it for exposure. Now, this is the essence of why I wanted to create this vlog. Why I wanted to create this vlog is because this severe, serious misconception about the amount of work that creative artists do is not just a novelty fun thing where, you're just making it look easy. This has severe impacts on creative artists' lives. It has serious impacts on our lives. People look at what we do as not having the same value or worth, often not having any value or worth because of this misconception. Then professional musicians get asked to perform for exposure for $50, or we're not going to cover the cost of your travel, etc. I've been told as a professional musician before that I have to pay to perform at events. This is so insanely insulting. I'm having to pay anyway to get my gear to you. I'm having to pay for the decades of lessons and practice. I'm having to pay for the gear, for the instruments, for the maintenance of the gear. And you're telling me I also have to pay to be seen? You're choking my face. This is having a serious impact, and that's the most obvious case. And I've seen musicians just snap based off this. But that is just the most obvious case. There's also the hidden damage that this does. And this is, I think, probably the worst part of the whole thing, is that when people support you as a creative artist, and these people, they understand what you do. When people support you as a creative artist, you feel the need constantly, every moment of your day, when you're awake, from when you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed at night, and often throughout the night, to be working, to be producing, to be shipping, to be creating, to be proving that you are producing, that you have worth and value, and that what you do is worth the amount of support you're getting. And every second you thank the heavens above that there is any support out there whatsoever, because you're so thoroughly brainwashed by these people that you have so little value. And this is so emotionally and mentally draining. Musicians are having to fight a war in their heads every day where they're trying to justify their value for what they do. And that's an unnecessary war. That is not necessary. You know what the easy job is? The 3-hour-a-week job? Maybe even less than 3 hours a week. You can be efficient about it. It's not being a creative artist. It's not being a musician. It's being the person that stands there and gives unsolicited advice about going on a reality show, or the person who's trying to convince an act that they should do the show for exposure because it'll be good for their career. The person standing there telling you to get a real job. That's the easy job. That's the job that honestly shouldn't exist. That's the job that all those people that are employed in that particular profession should go unemployed from. Because creative artists, what you do is a real job. It is a real job. It is a hard job. It is a time-consuming job. And for those who watch creative artists, regardless of what their output is, know that we're not looking for advice on going on to reality programs. And I mean, I'm speaking here to a lot of people that watch my channel. They already know this. These are people that see what we're actually trying to show, what creators are actually trying to do, which is tell you a story, take you on an emotional journey, bring you into their world. That's all. You go through all this training and all this work just to do that for you. And that's all we want for you. Please don't turn around and tell us through words or actions that we are worthless, because we're not. And I just like to clarify here. There are so many people out there, often, I'm sure, not often, but quite certainly people that would be watching this video that do not fall into this category of person that sees the arts as worthless. If this is not you I'm talking to, thank you. Thank you so very much for seeing what it is we do, for supporting what it is we do, and for going on the journey as opposed to standing outside and judging, because you make it worth it. That was quite a ramble. It got quite intense. Good. Great. But thank you for listening to me ramble. I could go on about this for days, years, I'm sure. Thank you for sitting through it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you create and you see the value in your creation and in the inspiration around you that's brought by all these other people sharing their thoughts and ideas and their gifts. Bye for now. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, I would love for you to hit down that subscribe button and also the bell notification button so you can be notified in future when I put up videos. Also, I'd love to do a massive shout out for everyone who is a part of Ninja Club. Your support and encouragement is absolutely invaluable. Thank you so very much. If you're a fan of what I do, I encourage you to check out Ninja Club. There is a link at the top of the description box, and have a wonderful rest of your day. You rock all the Lego blocks.